Hello. Let me start inviting. Hi, Karen. How are you, beautiful? I'm so happy to see you. How are you? Hola, Altez. Hi, Lionel. Hi, bro. I'm gonna use this moment really quick. If you guys can send this live so more people can join us, it's going to be an amazing conversation today with a very inspirational woman, a warrior, a friend. I'm so happy to see you too, Karen. Always happy to see you. Hi, Mom. Hi, Melly. Thank you for connecting. How is everybody doing? I think we are going to start. I'm going to invite. Let me see if she's. Yeah. I'm going to go live with this amazing woman. Her name is Nicole Carfagna. She is a lupus warrior and ambassador, just like myself. And today we're going to listen to her story. Also, I'm encouraging questions. If you guys have any questions, there's a question bubble in the bottom. You guys can go ahead and ask us questions. And I hope you get inspired today and get to know about lupus if you guys don't know about it yet. Same, Melly. I've been looking forward to this whole time. Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
Looking so beautiful. We're rocking the purple.
Yes?
Yes?
I am, yes.
Go. Yes. We have a lot of people connected already.
Woohoo. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go.
Hi, Romana. Hi, everybody that is connecting. So, how are you, Nicole? I am so happy to see you.
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a crazy week, but I'm good.
You good? How
Yeah.
you been feeling with everything that is happening with the pandemic and everything?
Um I was like, am I gonna talk about this or no? But my husband was exposed a week ago. So he's been quarantined in our guest room. I think he just joined, but he's been so that's been like really crazy. This week has been the most stressful probably because um he's been in one room and I've been like bringing food to the door and just wiping down everything. And so yeah, other than that, I mean, I don't remember before this week now really, because it's just been this has been crazy. But we're both going to get he already had a negative test. We're both going to get tested tomorrow and should be okay.
Everything is gonna go all right. I believe it. I believe it.
And he feels fine, so it's just the
My
protocol.
husband joined. He says, "How can we help?" Yes. If you need any help, girl, you can
Aw.
just let us know.
No, I like put on my big girl pants this week really, and I feel like I'm such a housewife. I'm cooking and cleaning, and but it's not. I mean, he takes care of me all the time. So the fact that I actually have energy, like the energy enough to do this, it feels good to be able to do it for him. So
It's amazing. I know how it feels. Like I'm usually, I do things in the house, but my husband helps me a lot as well, especially
okay.
when I'm having my days,
Yeah.
when I'm,
Oh, I know.
when we have our days, he has been a blessing. So I'm sure your husband is the same way. Hey, Bonnie. So, my beautiful Nicole, I want to know, my first question is, I want to know about you. So, my question is, who is Nicole? Can you hear me? I don't think I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yes, I couldn't hear you
Sorry,
for a little bit.
sorry. My mom texted me. She's like, I can't find anything.
Oh,
I texted her your thing, but I don't know.
I was
Maybe.
I was asking you, who is Nicole? That's my first question. I want to know about you. So tell us about you. Tell us your story.
Oh, jeez, that's like a loaded question.
So let's start with who's Nicole? Just a simple sentence. Go ahead.
Um. All right. Well, I'm a special ed teacher. I haven't been able to teach for about 5 years now because of my health, but I I loved it, and yeah, I guess I should just go right into my lupus story. Just talking about, I feel like that's just gone hand in hand so
Yeah.
much in the last few years. So I'm just really quick gonna see what my mom said on my wrist. I'm on her, but don't know where stories are.
Oh, it's a live. Tell her that it's Instagram live. So cute.
Sorry,
It's
I'm, tell-
okay.
I'm telling her to call my husband.
Don't worry. We are all family here, right? We are all family.
He just yelled to me. He's like, just keep talking. I'll deal with your mom. Okay. All right. So lupus. Um, there we go. I guess. Okay. So I'm 34. I'm going to be 35 next month. I guess I could go all the way back to high school and say I was sick. Ever since I had mono, really, which was like junior year, I just was always sick after that. In college, I was always sick, and to the point where, like, I always joke about this. My mom used to call me Dolly Dilemma, and I used to be so upset about it because I was like, no, I'm actually not feeling well. And she just was like, what's wrong with Nicole now? Um, but I would go to the doctor all the time, and they never really knew what was wrong, um, all throughout undergrad. And I went to the hospital a bunch of times, mainly with chest pain, and they ended up saying, it was just inflammation. But I later found out it was pleurisy and pericarditis, which is inflammation of your lungs and your heart. I don't know why no one was able to figure that out then. But things just kind of started to piece together. I went to one rheumatologist who said, you absolutely don't have lupus. So I then was put on like tons of antidepressant and anti-anxiety medications, because then it turned into, well, if this girl just keeps going to the doctor and saying that she's not feeling well, but there's nothing physically wrong with her, it's in her head. So that was one of the worst times in my life, because I was just so medicated, so numb to everything, and I still didn't feel good. I still felt sick. So now I just didn't care about not feeling sick, but so that probably went on for 2 years. Still going to the doctor, but just not really fighting as much for an answer. My primary care really stuck it out. He just kept saying we're missing something, and he eventually sent me to my second rheumatologist, who was awesome, and he retired, but he said, you have a lot of symptoms for lupus, a lot of the criteria you need. 4 of 11 criteria. I don't know if it's changed, but at the time it was you needed 4 out of 11 certain criteria to be diagnosed. That's why it's such a hard diagnosis. And also, I've been told, you can have 100 people in a room, all with lupus, and every single person will have a different case. So no 2 cases really look alike. And I didn't have joint pain at the time. I was tired, but I could have chalked that up to being a college student and just anything. So I didn't have the typical lupus symptoms. I didn't have the rash on my face at the time. I didn't have joint pain, like I said. I had headaches all the time. I had the chest pain, and blood tests they were always positive. My ANA was positive, and my double-stranded DNA, which is another test they do for lupus, was always very high. So they say stressful events bring out lupus, and a lot of times pregnancy for people. For me, in my old apartment, there were fleas, and I like was so disgusted. I turned into a neat freak. Anything that touched the ground, I was cleaning with like ammonia. We bug bombed the place. I was just freak. I don't know if anyone's had fleas, but it's so terrible and so disgusting, and I was just so skeeved out. So I was stressed. So I developed a rash like all over my arms and my legs, and I just thought it was from a cleaning product. I didn't think anything else. I just thought I'm cleaning everything that touches the ground. So I went to a dermatologist, and sorry, I'm gonna have to plug
It's okay.
in my phone. So I went to a rheumatologist, and she had the worst bedside manner out of any doctor I think I've ever encountered. So she just casually brought up, oh, sorry, this is really not balancing. I'm trying. Okay.
It's okay. Don't worry.
She just brought up casually, okay, we're going to do a biopsy on your arm right now. And I was like, wait, what? And she's like, yeah, I'm just going to like cut a little piece out of your arm. I don't want it on a place where it's going to be showing that much, but I'll just do it right here. So I'm like, I'm probably going to freak out. I don't know. So luckily it like just was a serendipity type thing that a woman who I knew, like a mother of someone who I knew growing up, was a nurse there. So, and they said, can we have a nurse come in? Like they probably thought I was going to pass out or something. And it was her. So she held my hand the whole time. And, I mean, it wasn't a big deal, but at the time I just wasn't expecting that. And she brought up lupus. She said, I think, so I had all of that. I went from thinking I have a rash from cleaning products to this woman saying, okay, I'm going to cut a piece of your arm out real quick. You might have lupus. That's it. So within a day or two, she called me and said, okay, came back showing signs of lupus, go back to your rheumatologist. And once I went back to him, he said, okay, we can say that you have it now, but you have a mild case. You know, it's okay. You're going to be fine. I love my rheumatologist now so much, but he at the time was the doctor I needed because he made me feel so much better about the diagnosis, because it's hard. Like finding out that you are sick and you're going to have something the rest of your life is not fun. But in a weird way, it was like a relief, because I was like, I knew it. I told all these people that would put me on medication and said there was nothing wrong with me. And my mom, if you're here, I love you. But the whole Dolly dilemma thing, you know, like there was something wrong. So it was a relief, but also there was a lot of crying. And also I was just like, I don't even know what lupus is. Like, what does that even mean? So I started on Plaquenil, and I'm terrified of trying new medications. So that took me like a few months to try, which it was fine. Plaquenil's completely, everything in the news, I think, was hyped up a lot lately. I think Plaquenil's like the most benign drug there is now. But, everything pretty much was status quo for a while. I still had these aches and pains, but now there was a reason for it. So I didn't, freak out as much. I didn't go to the emergency room. I was told what to do if certain things happen and what to look out for. But I still worked. I went to grad school. That's when I was diagnosed, I think, when I was in grad school. So I finished grad school. I started my teaching career, and I was in pain, but everything was okay. And so by pain, I mean the joint pain had started primarily in my hips. And my rheumatologist said when it becomes uncomfortable to lay on your side in bed or on a couch, then it's time for us to really do something about it. So that day came, and he started on a very long journey of cortisone injections in my hips. So I would basically go every 3 months, and I was allowed to go every 3 months because it was in the joint. So they say cortisone injections aren't good, and I kind of paid the price for it, which I'll get to. But at the time, it was really the only thing that gave me relief. I would be in a lot of pain from the injections for about a week, and then I'd have like 2.5 months where I'd feel so much better. And then the pain would come creeping back. I'd call the doctor, I'd go in, I'd get the injections again. So that went on for probably two years. That was my routine. Even teaching, I mean, I would be at the school and sitting down using the elevator in a middle school, trying to hide from middle schoolers what was going on with me, and they would see me taking 10 minutes to get from one room to another. Um but they just knew, you know, my hips hurt, and then I was fine some days. So
Which is, I'm sorry to interrupt a little bit, but just to explain to some of the people that are joining us, if you guys don't know, lupus is an autoimmune disease, right? It is an
I don't
autoimmune disease.
explain anything.
And basically, let me put it this way, in a gentle way. We don't look sick. I mean, you look at Nicole, like she's beautiful, and you would never think that she's sick right now, right? And that's the big problem. I also have lupus, but when people see me, they will never think that they don't even think that I have lupus. And they sometimes they don't consider. And that's why I say we always have to be careful how we treat others because you don't know the battle that they're going through. And look at you, Nicole, you're going through all of this. You went through all of this. And maybe the people that were around you had no idea, that you were going through this. And
That's why,
so, sorry, go ahead, my love.
no, I think that's what made it hard for some people to, but like, I think a lot of people, honestly, I know a lot of people didn't believe me. Friends, like I lost friends. I had family members that didn't believe me. It was very hard your health also can change like in an instant for me. It's not like a lot of times I'll go to bed and not know how I'm going to feel the next day, but there are other times where I'll be totally fine one minute, and then the next minute I'll feel like I got hit by a bus and everything will hurt. And that's very hard for people to understand. Like, I just saw you yesterday. You were fine. You were out having fun an hour ago, and having to cancel a lot and having to call out of work and call and say that you can't go to holidays and get together with friends. I can see how that is hard to believe because you are fine one second and you still look just the same. You're just saying like, I'm in pain. I can't do something. So it's a blessing and a curse. I think the you look fine thing, because you can hide it from people, but then again, you can be in the most pain of your life and look completely fine. And that's why I really don't like emergency rooms, because it's very hard to go in there and be taken seriously when you'd be crying in pain, and like, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. You have growing pains or something like that. So
Yeah. Again, because we don't look sick, people really do not take it seriously. And this is why I wanted you to share your story, because it's going to inspire others, but also is going to open a lot of people's eyes and minds to understand that this sickness is real, and that we need to do more, and we need to care for one another. It is so important. And also just to give like a message of inspiration, because it is an inspiration that despite that you are going through all of this, you're still here with us, and you're still pushing, and you're still being amazing. So I want to hear more about it. But another thing, when I was talking about lupus being an autoimmune disease, imagine um, imagine your body being in a boxing ring every single day, and your body is attacking itself every day. There's no cure for lupus. We are hoping for a cure. But I'm just putting it that way so you guys understand. So when Nicole talks about pain, she's not talking about, oh, I just woke up with a no. It's she feels like punch out of nowhere in the face. I understand that because sometimes it happens to me.
yeah,
I woke up fine, and then out of nowhere in the middle of the afternoon, I'm like, okay, I need to lay down. But it's hard for people to understand.
yeah.
So continue telling us, please.
Okay. That's a way that I explain the autoimmune thing too, real quick, is that like your body just is so overactive trying to find something to fight, and it doesn't have a sickness to fight, so it just picks and chooses different areas of your body to attack like it's a foreign invader. So it,
Yeah.
you know, like a virus, it would, your body would attack it. It's just attacking joints, organs, any part. So that hurts. And it gives you fevers and it makes you tired because your body is constantly fighting itself. So, yeah, boxing ring thing is a good way to explain it. But so pretty much everything was like I said. I would be in pain, but I would be okay. I was able to work. And in 2015, it was kind of catching up with me, so I decided to take that summer off of teaching. And I did like a short-term disability thing for the summer. Like, okay, great, I'm gonna rest up. I'll be good to go again come the fall. I started teaching again in the fall, and I lasted until November. And then I was a special ed teacher. My students were relying on me to not call out, and I was not consistent. I was not reliable. My health was not reliable. I try to stick to that more, but I really wasn't, because I didn't know how I was going to wake up every day. And at that point, my health was definitely declining. I had much more widespread pain. I was tired all the time. I was sleeping all the time. So the decision had to be made to go on disability, which was probably one of the hardest decisions also to make, because it's like, okay, I just worked so hard to get my undergrad degree, to get my master's, and now I'm 30 years old and going on disability. And I kept telling myself it's going to be temporary. And I still think, I still pray that I will be able to work again. But looking back, I had no other choice, because especially with what continued to happen, there was no way that I was able to work. So for the next year, we tried different medications. I spent my birthday in the doctor's office one year just crying, because that's the thing too about lupus. Like you said, there's no cure. There's different drugs. There's only one drug for lupus, and that's brand new. But there are other drugs that are used to help the symptoms, and that's it. So it's just kind of managing your symptoms and finding the right combination of drugs for each person, because every case is different, is very hard. So I read somewhere that like it takes 5 years usually from the onset to figure out what really works for you and what your main symptoms are. And for me, it took a little longer, I think, because at the beginning I really didn't have many symptoms. So in 2016, my doctors suggested Benlysta, which is the one medication that is approved for lupus. At the time, it was just an infusion, so I was terrified. And again, new drug, and now we're not talking about a pill that's been around since World War II. We're talking about a brand new drug that's going to be, pumped into me. So I had like a full-fledged panic attack the first time in the hospital getting it, and my mom was there and my husband, and the nurses stopped the medication because I was convinced I was having a reaction to it, which I wasn't. I was just working myself up so much, and they said, you can stop it, like we'll call your doctor. And I had a moment with myself, like I need to let this drug at least try to work for me, because I don't have anything else at this time. Like I lived on the couch. I did nothing. He was my boyfriend at the time. He made me meals. He did everything for me. He would make ice when my joints were hurting so bad. He would fill the tub with ice and make ice baths for me. Like, he really did everything. So I needed to give this drug at least a chance. So you have to get loading doses, they call it, with Benlysta. So every 2 weeks I went for an infusion, and then it went to every month. And it kicked my butt a little at the beginning, but I kind of compare it to the flu, or just like a bad lupus flare. Like I just felt tired, and I felt like the medication was kind of doing its thing. And slowly I started, maybe having a day where I felt like I had a little more energy. I was getting these glimpses, and doctors were saying, oh no, it's way too early. Like, you can't feel anything. But I I knew my body. I knew something was changing, something was different. On the flip side, think of how long I've been laying down now and doing nothing. So like muscle wise, my body was nothing. I'm still working up to it. No energy, no stamina. You know, I remember like writing down that I went for a walk for a minute outside, or I would walk around the house or my apartment. So even though I felt like I was maybe getting better lupus wise, my body was just, you know,
It was just not reacting.
yeah.
Now, I have a question for you. What was that one thing that you basically held on, or to 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 not allow lupus take away everything? What was that one thing that helped you through that process?
I don't even know how, I don't know how to even label it. I just felt like I like dug deep in myself and found I had to give it a chance. I had nothing. I felt like I was at such a low point of my life that if I couldn't even let this medication try to help me, then what was next? I just felt so hopeless. So I prayed. I just tried to talk to myself and say, you know, whatever is going to happen with this is going to happen, but I have to at least give it a try. And from someone who already has anxiety, that was really hard. But I I had not, there was nothing else at that point for me, and I didn't want to keep going on. I felt like I had no quality of life. So
You were talking about your husband. At that time, he was your boyfriend. It is so important. Let's talk a little bit about that. I feel like it is so important for people that um, have lupus. But let's be broader than that, that people that are sick as an overall, to have a good support system, to
yes,
have a person next to you that is gonna, sorry, I sorry, I get teared up because it's a blessing in disguise. Your husband now, he was like a godsend, you know.
mm-hmm.
And when they say for richer and for poorer, for in sickness and in health, you could really tell, one, who your friends are when the hard times happen.
Yep.
You could really tell. And two, one of the things that I realized that my husband was that one that God had chosen for me is because when I got sick, he was right there by my side. So when you were telling me about your husband, it touched me because that's something that I went through and I still go through. You see, my husband is my best friend. And tell us a little bit about that. About, you know, how in a way did I imagine in the beginning was hard, but I felt like in my case, this sickness, even though it is so hard for us, I'm pretty sure that it has to be hard for your husband to even trying to understand. And tell us about that. How does
I can't
it
imagine.
deal?
I can't. I always say it takes like a very special person to be with somebody who is sick on any level. And I don't mean it against anybody who is not with somebody who is sick or who can't handle that. It is a lot. Um, when we met about 6 months before my health really started to. We met 6 months before that summer that I took off, thinking I was going to get better. So, um, you know, we had a little bit at the beginning of, you know, we met and I was like, I love to golf, I love to ski, I love, these are all the things I love to do. Wow, he does too. This is so great. We have so much in common. um and we were never able to do any of that because at the beginning my hips were starting to hurt. So I just was thinking, oh, it's fine, I'll be stronger soon, I'll get through this. And then everything went downhill, and he was still there. And there was a time I remember where I had to get an MRI before work one day, and he was working overnight at the time. So he was saying he'd come with me. And this was just a couple months into our relationship. And I was like, no, you're not coming with me. What are you going to do? Sit in the waiting room? Like, you can't even come in. And he was asking me where I was going. And I told him the town, I believe. I didn't tell him the place. I told him what town I was going to. And I pulled up in the morning at like 7 a.m. and he was standing there with a cup of coffee. Like, he went after work to meet me. And I was like, what is this guy doing? Like, how is he real right now? Now he's going to sit here and take, like, I'm sorry, I curse a lot, but take all my shit, like, with him? How is that? I already have all this going on, and now he's just leaving work, coming to meet me to go sit in the waiting room while I go get a 40-minute MRI. So that was one of the moments for me. I also thought he was kind of crazy, but other people did too. I mean, we had one doctor who said flat out to him, we had only been together 4 months at the time, and she said to him, are you sure you know what you're doing? Like, you sure you want to deal with this? Wow. That's something I won't ever forget, but basically warning him, like, this is going to be a lifetime thing that you're getting yourself into. So he's a saint. He's done so much more that I could get into, but even just, I'm saying at the very beginning, it is a lot. And just that trust too, to know that even though I look fine, he believed me. He never questioned me. When I said I couldn't get up off the couch to make myself food, he knew it wasn't, oh, she's being lazy and she wants me to make food for her. It's that she can't get off the couch and make food. So I love you.
I want to give a shout out to your husband. Shout out to his hubby. Big round of applause. So also, if my hubby is there, shout out to you too, baby.
Oh my God, I love him too.
This is amazing. And also shout out to everybody that he has connected that has a family member dealing with lupus or any type of sickness, and that you guys are still there. Shout out to you. God bless you. And again, it is difficult. So we can't judge the people that really cannot handle, because it is difficult. So difficult. And in my case, I try to balance it. You know, like sometimes I feel bad, and he helps me a lot, but sometimes I feel great and I try to do something special for him. You know, like it's kind of like, you know, I just feel that when you have something good, you have to work hard for it.
Yes.
In a way, you have to build that love, build that. For me, that's my priority when it comes to that. We have questions, Nicole, but go ahead.
Oh, they're not coming up for me, but it's my phone's being weird. One thing Danny really helped me with too was I had a very hard time with people who couldn't deal with it, and just questioning why, and just wanting to reach out to, like, be like, why don't you believe me? And he really helped me realize you have so many people in your corner. Like, I have so many friends who are there for me no matter what, and family who are there for me no matter what. And he kind of pointed out, why are you wasting your energy and your time and your thoughts on these people who are not there, and you've given them chances, and you can't just say, like, be there for me if somebody can't be there for you. So support the people who are supporting you. And like you said, you make it a priority to, and I try very hard to, you know, keep those people in the forefront, because they trust me. I keep saying trust, but just like believe me and know that I'm not full of it and I'm not just being flaky. It's just, this is my health. And
yeah,
you know, I've been involved in weddings with people and can't go to the bachelorette parties or leave the wedding early. And they're just like, okay, I hope you feel better. Are you okay? Asking me if I'm okay at their wedding. Like, there's some amazing people. So
that's beautiful. I'm going to share something with you. I lost so many people that, you know, I considered that they were my friends, and it didn't turn out that way. But just as your husband told you, my husband told me the same thing. He's like, this is a blessing in disguise, because God is showing you the people that are supposed to be in your corner, and
Yeah.
the people that are not supposed to be in your corner, and never wish them bad. Never, never.
No. Oh
It's
my
just
God.
not, it was just not for you. You know, there's, I feel like there's a time and place and people for everybody. You
Yes.
know, it was just, and I cannot judge them for that. But the small people, the small group, which is very small,
Yeah.
of friends, very small of
Yes.
friends that I have, they're a blessing. And again, I don't even have to tell them, just like you said, I
Yeah.
don't even have to tell them, oh, you know, I can't go. It's like, oh, are you feeling good? Yes. Are you
They
okay?
know. They know the
They
cues
know.
to pick up on, and they just know the questions to ask. And I feel very lucky to have them in my life.
Oh, that's a blessing. That is a blessing. I'm going to ask you, we have questions.
Okay.
Again, if you guys have questions, let us know.
Oh, one more thing.
Go ahead.
A lot of people say, like, I've shared a lot on Instagram about our wedding, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm never going to meet someone who, you know, who will deal with this." And I was single before we met, and I had lupus, and I was really scared about that too. But it kind of works as a really good, like, weeding out process of the people who, you know, if somebody from the beginning isn't showing interest or wanting to get to know more about your health, you can kind of tell right at the beginning, and that's good. Like, why waste your time with somebody who a year down the line wouldn't be there for you? So it's a really good way to weed the wrong people out, just by being upfront at the beginning and say, you know, I mean, it's up to everyone when they want to say that they have lupus, but or whatever illness, but I think just, you know, do it at the beginning. And I didn't even mean to when it came out in our first conversation. And he had no idea what lupus was. And he said, "Oh, it's okay, I have asthma." And I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy.
Oh my God.
But he
Your
doesn't
husband
know.
has asthma, and my husband has asthma. What?
What?
I mean, I'm not laughing. It's not good. I'm not
No, I
saying it's
know,
good, but
that's
I'm just
funny though. It's like every time we talk, we find more things that we have in common.
yes, this is crazy.
Yeah.
We have a question.
Okay.
What are some of the most difficult things about having lupus? Oof. Go ahead.
The first thing that just came to mind at the beginning was learning to ask for help. I was, like I said, I was single for a period of time before we met. I was independent. I was working. I was doing any and all things that I wanted to do and for myself. And then not being able to do simple daily living things, driving yourself to the doctor's office, making yourself a meal. It took me a really long time to be able to ask for help with certain things because I would push myself and then I would crash. And yeah, that is very difficult, learning to accept help from people. And another very difficult thing is missing out on things. I think I've gotten better with it. I definitely still have my moments. I had to miss last Christmas Day last year, but I went to Christmas Eve and was okay. And then in the morning I woke up and I was horrible. So I definitely still have moments where I don't know what things I will be able to make. I can't plan for something so far in advance. That's why our wedding was the best way that it could have been, because I don't know how I could have planned for a wedding and known if I was going to feel okay or not that day. So learning to live with the unpredictability of not knowing if you can do things, and that plans kind of have to be a little up in the air. We can make plans, but maybe allow for some flexibility. Like I'll make plans with friends and they'll just say, why don't we just come to your house, so that, you know, even if you're not feeling great, you could just lay on the couch. And that's something that's really worked a lot. But that's still hard. That's still, if anyone has any suggestions on how to deal with that, let me know, because it's still hard.
It is hard. Even, I don't even think it's like, so listen, sometimes it happens to me, you know, and again, one of the things about lupus is that it hits, I have my tissue ready, I'm sorry, because I was crying.
I have them right here. So.
You had them because I'm a crier.
Yeah.
I no, but one of the things about lupus is in the beginning, it was so hard. Again, I lost so many people, which is fine. I have come to the conclusion it's actually better, for both parties.
Yeah.
But I have learned that one of the things, and I'm pretty sure it's the same with you, like when I got diagnosed with lupus, I remember that I didn't believe it. So I was one of those. I didn't believe it, and I did not want to believe it for a long time. When I say long, a long time. I was like, no, I don't have lupus. Don't say that to me. You are lying.
So did you not take any medication? Did you say I'm not taking medication?
Yeah, well, the thing about me was I had no option. Okay, so really quick. So basically, I was diagnosed like it's gonna be 10 years, 10 years now. I say
You're
11.
already telling your story so much more succinct. I was like, well, back in high school.
No, it's okay because this is for people to understand. But again, lupus is not the same for everybody.
I know.
You see, the lupus, hits women in a very different way. The way that hits me is not the same way that it hits you. You understand? For me, it's so important to hear your story, and thank you so much that you share it because it is very different a little bit about mine, about how I went through, a lot of things are the same. Like, for example, the anxiety, the depression, the, shortness of breath, the Plaquenil, the steroids,
Yeah. Oh gosh.
a lot of all the things are the same. But when it comes to how lupus triggers the individual, especially, is different. The way that I'm handling lupus, it is different the way that you handle it. The medications might, are different. So that's why I want people to understand when somebody says I have lupus, it doesn't mean that everybody that has lupus has the same story,
not at all.
And at the same time, I want to point out something. Like, I know that there's people that have lupus that have a normal life completely because the lupus is like, stable, and I'm so happy for them. But sometimes they're like, oh, I had a person telling me like, oh, I have lupus, but I'm like, whatever, and I'm like, I understand. I'm happy for you, but you need to understand that every case is different and not everybody is okay like you. You understand? So, but we bless you because you're okay. You understand? So that's why for me it was so important to bring you so you can share us your story. In my case, like I said, I was diagnosed 10 years ago, but I'm going to say 12 years because in those 2 years, they had no idea what I had. They thought I went to a thyroid problem, to my kidneys. I went through this whole thing, and I used to tremble a lot. And I was a kid. I was in high school. I used to go through a lot, like my emotions were all over the place.
Yeah.
And again, they thought, oh, you're so young. Why are you so tired? You're so young. Why you can't do this? So I will push myself, and it was like an overload. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't breathe sometimes. It was so hard, and I couldn't understand why. But again, because my family thought that it was just me being a youngster.
Yeah.
And
it's
again,
very easy, I guess, if you're a teenager, to just say you're just being a teenager.
oh, you're being lazy. Like, stop being lazy, right? Or it's just hard. And I felt, I'm gonna be honest, I used to blame myself because I used to say, why do I feel this way? Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm lazy. Or maybe, and I used to try so hard, Nicole, so hard. And then when the thing with my kidneys happened, when they found like protein and stuff like that in the urine, sorry, I'm being blunt, but we have to be real. They thought that it was just my kidneys, and they didn't check for anything else because, again, I had no other symptom whatsoever, just my kidneys that were like, having blood and protein. So they had no idea. So they were treating me for that, which was actually not really doing anything because the thing that was triggering me was lupus, so, but they didn't want to even check on that because, again, I didn't have the symptoms, if it makes any sense.
Yeah, you didn't have
So
typical. People think if they know a little bit about lupus, it's usually, oh, you get a rash on your face and you have joint pain. And if you don't have those few symptoms,
exactly.
then
And
so,
I didn't have those. I didn't have those. I used to be I was in a dance company. I was like I was always an active person. So I never really thought of, oh, lupus
yeah,
in a million years. So then, I graduated, went to college, like nothing happened. Um and then, I met my husband. We got married. I'm just like putting the story. It's so complex, but I'm just making it small.
you're doing a much better job than I've done.
No, you did great. Basically, I got married, and we were recently married when I got diagnosed with lupus. It was just crazy because it started with a pain in my finger. In my
Wow.
finger. Like, I just couldn't, it was a horrible pain, and I couldn't move it. So I felt that I was so stressed out because I was working too much. And I say, it has to be stress. Then it went up to my shoulder, and I'm like, this pain is weird. And I used to put Bengay. A lot of
Yep.
Bengay. My husband used to be like newlyweds. We were newlyweds, and he used to put Bengay, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna go away. It's gonna go away. And I was always the type of person on the go. Like, I always was doing something, always busy, always doing something. And so I thought that it was just stress. Again, stress triggers it. So
Yeah.
we have to be careful with that. So then, I woke up the next day swollen. My eyes were completely swollen. I couldn't move my hand at all. Like, I couldn't even lift it up. I had a fever, horrible fever, and I couldn't walk. My joints completely locked in. I remember my husband had to even take me to the bathroom for a long time because it hurt to walk.
Yeah.
And it's hard to even explain, but it hurt to walk. Like, I couldn't. I don't wish it to nobody. And then my husband, I was being hard-headed, and I'm like, no, it's probably just like the cold or like the flu, right?
Yeah.
So I went to an emergency room, and they gave me this shot. I forgot the name of the shot. Honey, if you're there, because I know he's watching, he will remember it. But that shot that they gave me in the emergency room actually got me worse. Really,
Really?
really bad. Worse.
Was it for, do you know if it was like a steroid or for pain?
It was for the pain. It actually got me worse. It actually brought the flare up all the way up.
Wow.
And so I had to go to another emergency room that my husband took me, and they took my blood work, and they're like, do you have HIV? Do you have, because your blood cells are completely down.
Wow.
Penicillin. Yes, penicillin. That's the one that they
Okay.
gave me. They gave me penicillin, and
that
it complete
like made it crazy.
it like literally destroyed me.
Which there's also, if people don't know, there's drug-induced lupus too, which a lot of times will go away if you stop the medication, but can also, just like you said, trigger something, trigger
Yes.
an autoimmune response. So
In my case, lupus was already flaring up, but that was like done. That was what made it worse. So I was in a hospital for a month. That was like our honeymoon phase.
oh my gosh.
I was in the hospital. Well, because he will be with me. We were in the hospital. I was in the hospital for a month. They still didn't know it was lupus because I didn't have the rashes, because I didn't have so many things, and they only see that my blood was low. Of course, they realized it was not HIV. It was not all of these things, and they started giving me morphine because the pain was unbearable. I couldn't deal with the pain of my body. I couldn't lay down. Everything was hurting. And then it was a doctor that he said, let's do a biopsy. They did a kidney biopsy.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, this is lupus. It has to be. Your kidneys are inflamed. And
Yeah.
that's why you have blood and protein going down. We're going to start you with a series of medications. So they start with prednisone. That I hated it. They started with prednisone and like 10 medications. And I was like, I felt like I was like their test bunny. Like they were just trying stuff to see if I would get better.
Yeah.
And then a couple of more days passed and I would start getting the rashes, you see, and they're like, okay, so now it's definitely lupus. And when the doctor came to tell me, oh, you have lupus, I'm like, oh, okay, so give me a medication so I
And
can
let me
start
go.
getting better.
Yeah.
And he said to me, no, there's no cure. I have to tell you, Nicole, my, like right there, my life just like went like, what? um and I enter in a denial phase. I'm like, no, I don't have lupus. I don't have what you're telling me that I have. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. And that's what I kept saying to myself. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. I remember that little by little, the steroids helped with the inflammation in my joints so I could start walking again. And my husband will help me every day. He will come to the hospital, help me to walk again. And I was such in a denial that I said to him, this cannot be. This cannot be. We're just married. I'm young. I wanted a family. It's crazy because there's this doctor that was so abrupt with you. I had one doctor that she literally looked at me and she said to me, oh, kids, forget it. You won't have them. I was like, literally, Nicole,
I don't know why some people are doctors.
I'm like, what? Are you a doctor right now? And I literally just broke down, and because we wanted a family, and as soon as that happened, the one thing that did happen to me that I hold on to so strongly was God. Like for me, I said, you know what? Doctors are telling me that this is not possible. I believe that in a God that says that everything is possible. And so I held on to that, girl. I was like, I'm gonna get through this. I'm not gonna allow lupus to defeat me. My spirit has to be strong than this sickness. And it wasn't like it just happened out of nowhere. No, it was little bit. It was little by little. Now my husband says 5 babies. No, 5 babies is too much, right?
I'd go for 5 babies.
You said for 5?
Yeah.
But 10 years later, thank God, my husband told me, he made me realize, it's like, you know what, you need to drink your medication, you need to follow procedure, and just have a positive mindset, and do not lose hope and faith. And I grabbed onto that. With all my heart, and I said, you know what, just like you, Nicole, I feel like God allows certain people to have this type of things, and we just need to see them as like our weapon. And I know it sounds, but we need to change our mindset. It's like I see it as my weapon, that you can go out like you, Nicole. I tell you all the time, you are an inspiration. All of the warriors that are in here that have lupus, you guys are an inspiration. This is our weapon to I don't know, makes us stronger in a way, even though we don't feel strong sometimes. So in my case, the way that lupus, it stopped inflamming my joints and stuff like that, but I still have to drink medication every day for my kidneys. So in my case, I have to take care of my kidneys. And we've been, one of the things is that we've been trying to have kids. And to be quite honest, for me, I know a lot of women that have lupus have kids normally, and my God bless them. But in my case, it's difficult. I have to go through a process, and not a lot of people understand that. So it is hard. I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit as well. I mean, I don't want to push you to it.
You're not going to push me, but I'll probably cry.
We're both going to cry here.
I've been seeing a bunch of doctors talking about that as well. A high risk pregnancy specialist, have been doing a lot of tests, and it's scary. It's scary. I never thought that I would have to think twice about having a child. I thought, you grow up your whole life thinking, okay, don't get pregnant, and then when you want to get pregnant, you get pregnant and you have babies. And now, I'm going to be 35 next month, and I'm looking forward to these appointments that I'm going to with specialists talking about hoping to have one child. And I still have very high hopes. I still need, but there's still a lot that has to be done. I still am weak. I need to be stronger. I don't know if my body would be able to support a baby right now. Luckily, a good thing is my blood tests came back really well. So,
Yay!
so that's a really good thing. But it's scary too, because my husband and I have said, you know, I was sick for so long, and things finally kind of had turned the corner in this last year for me. And we want to still be able to enjoy each other. So it's scary with all the risks.
Yeah.
I don't want to, you know, get back to square one. So it's fun talking about it with the doctors, and you know, it's fun going to a doctor and unloading everything on them and have them acting like you're not the worst I've seen. And that's what I've been getting lately, which is kind of nice. But it's very scary, and it's hard. It's hard to think, if I wanted to have a baby, I can't just have a baby if I want to have a baby. Like, there's so, like you said, it's a process. There's so much more, and that's really hard.
It is hard, but it's not impossible. I'm gonna be praying for you, my love, and I know everybody here is gonna be praying for you, for both of us.
Yeah, yes. Oh my gosh, for you, 5 babies.
No, 5 babies is way too much. I mean, we're working here for 1, you know? Imagine 5, that's like, no. Again, I know that God is gonna bless you, and that day we're gonna celebrate it. We have to celebrate it when that happens. You have to let everybody know.
Oh my gosh. I'm be banging pots and pans up and down the street. Trust me, everyone will know.
Everyone will, and you have to tell me. We need to do a live so people can join again and be like, hey, you know, it's happening.
Oh my
we
gosh.
have to stay positive.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things, Nicole, is that, again, this sickness is not more than us. It's not more than you, and it's not going to take away who we are, you know? And I feel like God gives us a strong spirit, and we just have to work at it, you know? I'm not gonna let that defeat me. For so many times I used to let words of people put me down, you know, and sometimes we have to we have to stay away from those people. Not wish them bad, bless them, but we need to take care of our health. We cannot have that type of negativity in our lives. We need to stay in a positive mindset and never lose hope. Like I'm also, this is crazy because I'm also starting this new treatment. You got your blood work and it's great. Now I'm waiting for my blood work to see if it's good. To start the treatment. So this is crazy that we
really
are both.
See, and we haven't spoken about this at all.
No.
Everyone else, just so you know, we have not spoken about this. So yeah,
exactly.
Every day I pretty much was checking I never checked my email and phone so much, waiting for those results. So
I can't wait to get mine. And I know that it's a process.
Yes.
And it's fine. You know why? Because if you know, it's going to be fine. Like, I always think that way. It's going to be fine. And if it's not, then, you know, we can just work harder for something else, or just let it be God's will. Like, I have come to a point. I was never like this, but I mean, in the beginning I was not like this. But one of the things in my case, and that's what I wanted to ask you, but one of the things that I feel like, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but one of the things that I have gained having lupus is that I have got to know my own strength, and that really had surprised me. So I wanted to ask you, what is one thing or more that you feel like you have learned dealing with lupus?
So 2 things. One, you said, like, stay positive all the time. I try very hard to stay positive all the time, but I definitely have moments where I have to let myself be sad, cry, be mad, you know, and it might not just be a moment, it might be longer than a moment. But I've learned one of the things I've learned is it's very easy to spiral down and get so far down where you feel like there's not much hope. Like I said, when I first tried Benlysta for the first time, that's pretty much, I mean, I had nowhere to look but up. So, as long as you can kind of catch yourself before you you know, you might start going, just try to become more aware of it and know, okay, this is that slippery slope. I'm allowed to be mad. I'm allowed to be sad. I'm allowed to feel all these things because it is frustrating that this is what I was dealt. But then, you know, you get up and you say, I'm the person I am now, so I can handle this. And the other thing is, it's very weird to say, but I like the person I am now more than before I got sick. I feel like, not that I like being sick. I wish I could get rid of this and there was no word lupus in the world. I would never wish it on anyone. But I really know what matters now. Who matters, what matters, the little things, you know, just things that I used to think were important aren't important to me anymore. And I sweat the small stuff sometimes, but not as much. And I just think like you said, you're proud of who you've become. I like the person I am now a lot more. And maybe that's why, you know, you attract different people in your life at different times. You grow, and I'm definitely not the same person that I was before I was sick. So, but I like this version of myself more.
And we love you.
Oh, I love you.
We love you.
And I'm like, I like myself.
Hey, it's beautiful to say that. You kidding? There's people that can't even say that. They're not even going through something. So it's beautiful that you can say that, and you're teaching everybody here a lesson, you know? And it's true. You see life, you see the world in a different way. And also you see people in a different way too. I see that, like, with you become more human, right?
I think so. And
Yeah.
it's very easy now, if you see someone going through something really hard or just angry, like someone who's angry, it's easier for me now just to automatically think, well, I don't know what they're like. You don't know what they're going through. They could just be having a really bad day. They could be sick. They could have a loved one who's sick. So I don't jump to those conclusions anymore. I don't like talking about people as much. Like, I don't like talking about people anymore because, and my husband helped me with that too. I remember once I was with somebody and he overheard us talking about somebody else. He was like, "What are you doing? That's not you." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I know. I just got like caught up in that again, that mindset again." And I mean, listen, I know when people talk about things, but it's just like you said, you're more human and more compassionate and more empathetic. I think empathy is like the biggest thing I've gained. Just not, even if I don't understand what you're going through, I can sit with you and say, you know, okay, you're going through this and this sucks, so I'm here. And
that's beautiful. That's really, really beautiful. I always like to, you know, instead of asking what you have lost, we already know things, you know, but I like asking what you have gained, you know, because I feel like it's better, you know, in a way to think that way instead of thinking of the things that we have lost to the things that we have gained,
just
you know?
to change the way you word the question almost, because then it changes the way you think.
Exactly. Exactly. I have questions for you, my love. So let's go through them.
Oh, I can't see anything. I don't. It's frozen, saying that
I'm
it's
gonna
frozen.
put them. I'm gonna put them there. So we're gonna answer your questions right now, guys. Thank you so much for being here. So we have a question right here. Let's go with this one. Do you struggle with chemicals, smell, food sensitivities?
Food sensitivities. I chose to go gluten-free like 7 years ago. I heard it was good for inflammation, so I just tried it and I kind of stuck it out. A doctor's tip was do it for, I think, 2 weeks or a month strict, and then eat it and see how you feel. I just felt good. Like I never felt that like gross feeling after you eat anymore. So I stuck with it, and I've been gluten-free for 7 years. Um, Dairy was always something, not always, something I realized I was sensitive to. It was definitely triggering migraines for me. So, almost 2 years ago now, I went vegan because a friend of mine who has lupus went vegan, and she said it helped her a lot. And I think that has made the biggest, now it's like 8 o'clock and my brain's gonna just stop working. It made the biggest difference. There's the word, difference. And I know it's hard thinking of not having meat or fish or cheese. Oh my gosh, like everyone. But it's been 2 years now, and like I said, this year things are looking up for me. I mean, it's still like lupus is always like this kind of, and I just feel like it's more stable, kind of like a little roller coaster, not a crazy one. So kind of try things, see what works for you, but do it strict for a little bit of time. And smell. Okay, the whole smell thing. I think you said smells.
Yes, she says smell.
My husband, and I think my mom too, I don't know, but he makes fun of me so much because every day I'll be smelling something different. I don't know what it is, like, or if it's there could be the littlest smell in like the outside and I can smell it, or I just have like phantom smells, and I feel like it's a thing of pots that I have also. I don't know. But but I just feel like I smell things all the time. So I don't even know if that's asking the question or if I'm just like losing my mind, but
you are answering, yes.
Yeah, it's fun.
Another question. Are you planning on making, I think this one is for me. Are you planning on making a film about this to show the world? Yes,
Oh my
Lionel.
gosh, are you?
Yes, I'm actually planning a film. I don't know if you guys know, but I think I told you, my husband and I, we started a production company. It's called GCM Productions. And basically, movies about giving a message of inspiration. And you know that lupus is coming. So the world needs to know more about lupus. So yes, it's coming. It's coming. Another question. Do you follow any nutrition plan?
I kind of said it. I try to eat like as plant-based as I can. I mean, I have like vegan pizza, vegan gluten-free pizza sometimes. I used to be a very unhealthy gluten-free vegan. And people think that like that isn't a thing. Like you can eat French fries and not. There was a time where I just ate nachos like all the time.
I love nachos.
Yeah, but I would eat.
I stopped eating a lot of stuff because of it, but
yeah. So I've been trying lately to just have more like whole foods. In the winter, I make like a veggie soup a lot, and I feel you feel better once you stop eating like all that processed stuff. And I'm not even talking about meat or cheese, just anything in general that has more than 7 to 10 ingredients in the label. Once you stop eating that and then you start having it again, you don't feel well. So it's just better when the dinner that we had last night was made of 3 things. So
wow.
It's just, and that soup that I make, it's like 15 things, but it's all vegetables. So I try hard to eat as healthy as possible, and I don't all the time, but I am strictly vegan. I have fish sometimes actually. And then the gluten-free thing I think helps too.
We have a message for you. It says, "You truly are amazing, Nicole. So glad that I got to watch. Thanks for sharing with us." Oh,
thank you.
That's so beautiful. Yes, you are an inspiration, my love. Another question. What motivates you to keep moving forward? I think we
did.
Yeah.
My family, yeah, my family, my husband, wanting a family, wanting to do everything for my husband that he's done for me. He literally took, like, you know, I stopped my story at a certain point. He has done everything for me, and I want to, you know, everyone's like, yay, feminism. I want to do everything on my own. Like, I want to do stuff for my husband. I want to make him dinner, and I want to do all those things. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And maybe I wouldn't have been like that if we didn't have our story happen the way it did. But he has just taken care of me for so long that that I want to do that. I don't even know what the question was anymore. Like I said, it's
No,
nighttime. I start just like losing.
Don't worry. We almost done. I'm gonna let you rest.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I just might start rambling, or you might have to repeat something.
I got you. Another question. Did you take a test? Try Viom, I don't know how to pronounce that, to know what foods not to eat. Oh, they're giving us like a place to go and check out, viom.com.
I actually did it's called the Leap MRT test. And
MRT?
Yeah, MRT Leap, I believe. And I can find out exactly what it's called. I did that in 2017, I think. And it's a blood test, and then they come back with foods that they have like red, yellow, and green foods. So red is foods that you're very reactive to, yellow kind of reactive, greens are good. So I worked with a nutritionist, and I started with like 15 green foods, and I just stuck with that for a while. And then it was also dairy-free, gluten-free, so I feel like all the inflammation was gone. And then we started incorporating the yellows. But this was a couple of years ago, and I was very, very, very underweight. So we were trying to have me gain weight, and I was being healthy. I was eating healthy, but it wasn't helping me gain weight. So I had to, you know, change things up a little bit. But I liked that. I mean, I didn't feel worse at all and I think it's a cool test. I can put information out about it and like show how it works exactly. But if there's anyone in New York, I have a great nutritionist, and I know she's doing virtual now. And you can get a phlebotomist to come to your house and draw your blood. And that was even before the pandemic. They just had them come here to do it. So if anyone's interested, I can share that information.
Oh, that is amazing. We have other question.
Oh,
Okay. I know, people want to know. Okay, let me see. How do you get people to understand what you're feeling?
It depends on who it is, I guess. The people who are closest to me know now. But if it's someone new, I kind of just try to read the person. If I feel like they're not going, like, sometimes you can meet someone or talk to someone and know like they're not going to really understand that much no matter what. So I can try to just simplify it as much as possible. Like I get Botox for migraines, which has helped so much. But you know, it's easy you can tell somebody that you have migraine, and that's something people kind of just don't ask many more questions about. You can say you're very tired, you need to lay down. The pain is the most difficult thing to explain, I think, because like you were saying, you were given morphine when you were in the hospital. The only time I was ever given morphine was in the hospital when I had the chest pain for pleurisy, and that was one of the worst pains I ever felt. So I come up with funny ways to explain it. Like I'll say, I feel like there's a knife in this part, like, you know, weird things like that. But it's very hard to explain. Like you said, your pinky hurt. How do you explain? You know, people can only relate that to probably a bruise or some, you know, it's a deep pain. So it's hard with my hips, that was always very hard to explain, because people would say, why can't you put ice or heat on it? And I'm like, the pain is so deep that nothing on the surface will help that. So if people are open to listen, I try my best to explain. That's, I guess, the best way to do it. But then if it's someone just saying, oh, how are you feeling? It's more of like, okay, well, I'm in pain a lot, but I don't know if I'm really answering it, but I'm just it's hard. It's very hard. How do you do it?
How do I do it?
Yeah.
Um, to be quite again, you I guess we become experts in a way reading people.
Yeah.
It's not judging. No, it's
No, no,
not
no, no.
judging.
I
No, no,
don't.
no. But it's like this is the thing. Sometimes a lot of people ask us questions, right? And I'm pretty sure everybody can relate. When they ask you how you doing, sometimes people don't really want to know. They just want you to say, I'm okay, and then just keep going. Like, it's and it's okay. And something that I have learned is like it's fine because everybody's different. And again, not everybody's gonna understand. So when I know that there's a person that genuinely wants to know, then I'll take my time and I'll
Yeah.
be like, okay, this is happening, and I explain. I take my time to explain.
Hmm.
But if I know that there's somebody that is just asking to be polite
Yeah.
or to be nice, which is great, and I really appreciate that as well, I'm not going to go into details. So you have to be careful again with who you open yourself up with. That is something that I have learned. um I don't open up with a lot of people. And I know it's crazy because we're open up with like everybody. And this is gonna stay in Instagram and anybody's gonna be able to see it.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful in your daily life who you open up, with with sorry. My brain again,
Yeah.
just
No,
like yours is going.
I've realized
But
that too because that goes back to people not 100% believing what you're going through because you can say, "Oh, I'm doing fine," just because maybe you don't want to get into it, or maybe you're feeling so horrible that you just can't deal with that at the moment, and then somebody can come back and say, "Well, you were feeling fine then," and it's tricky, but it's like you said, if somebody just asks to be polite, you can also just say, not great or something just more vague, but it's hard. It's hard. But
it's
you can
hard. I mean,
definitely tell when the people have specific questions or just
yes.
you could tell when they really want to know. So,
And it's just, what is hard because sometimes, like in my case, for example, thank God lately, well, sometimes I get like the pains here and there when I'm like stressed out and I'm like working hard, right? But in my case, one of the things that I'm pretty sure has happened to you too, the shortness of breath or the anxiety or this feeling of it's just so hard to explain. Like it's sometimes like you feel super, super sad and it's just something that you just cannot explain, right?
yeah.
Um, and I've been guilty on this, when somebody asks me, oh, how you doing? If I'm working or something, I'm like, oh, I'm okay. And I'll continue going. But inside, I'm not okay, you
Hmm.
know? And something that I have learned to understand for myself, and I'm pretty sure you as well, is that it's okay not to be okay.
Oh,
It is okay to not be okay.
yeah.
Even if you have lupus, depression, or anything, I will tell you speak up. Like don't keep it to yourself, but know who are you talking to
Hmm.
too. You know what I mean? Um, and that has been very hard for me to open up completely. I tend, because of my line of work, I say it all the time, I'm okay. But when I really feel like that okay is getting to the 99%, I'm like, okay, I need to go, guys. I'm not doing well. It's just, for me, I'm still learning to manage when it comes to that. My husband helps me a lot with that. Another thing, I don't know if it happens to you, but I see my husband sometimes he's like stressed out, he's working or doing something. And if I don't start feeling well, like I just take it to myself, I just go on my time and relax and whatever. And some things that he yells at me about because he's like, why don't you tell me? Like, tell me at that moment. Like, I need to know. We are partners for life. And that's a beautiful thing. But at the same time, me as a wife, it's like I feel like I don't want to stress him more. I
Hmm.
don't know if that happens to you. And it's so hard because it's like you don't want to give more to him that he can handle.
Yeah.
No, he's question is like why, but it's just so hard for them to understand too that we
I know.
think about them too. We think about our friends, we think about other people
Yeah, you
that
don't want to
aren't
add anything.
exactly.
And
So
we have some in our relationship. We have something which is I have no idea why I do it, but if I don't feel well, but not enough where he knows, like if I'm not, if it's just like I'm just not feeling well, I'll keep asking him if he's okay. And I don't know why I do it. I'm not even usually aware of me doing it, but he has caught on so much because if I usually ask like a few times if he's okay and he is fine, he's like, okay, what's wrong? Like something's wrong with you because I like project it onto him for some reason. So that's something I have to work on because I have no idea why I do that. But it's just like, okay, I'm not okay. So the world is not okay right now. So are you
Yes.
okay?
No, and but in a way, it's kind of nice that we think like that. I see Jessica says that she can relate because she don't like to stress her husband either. Exactly, So woman, we can relate, but at the same time, it's like we don't want nobody to feel that like you said, Nicole, because at that moment I'm not feeling well. I don't want nobody else to feel well. You know what I mean? Like that's not the point. Like I'd rather just to hold it in and keep going. But when it comes to family, like in his case, what he has told me was, I'm your husband. We are one. Talk to me. Because communication is key when it comes to a relationship.
Yeah.
It is key. And so he says, how am I gonna know? If you don't tell me. He said, I'm not a magician. I'm not a storyteller. Like I need to know. And that is something that I have learned. And to be quite honest, I can say that is something I have gained with Lupus. That communication, that to be more open with my husband, to be more, hey honey, this, and that, just to talk about it. And I feel like we read each other now. I'm pretty sure you and your husband is the same thing. It's like when I'm hiding something, he can tell. And I feel like the people can tell. I'm really, I act like, but I'm really not good when it comes to real life. When it comes to real life,
not in real life.
Yeah, when it comes to real life, I feel like people know when something is wrong. Like I cannot hide it. But when it comes to acting or my student, that's different. But when it comes to in real life,
yes,
I have to be real, because the way that I see it is, if I'm dealing with a condition in my life, I don't want to deal with anything else. So we need to keep it real, We have to keep it real. Jessica says, yes, that is very true. I project my anxieties on my husband and I keep to myself when I shouldn't. That is true. Something that we just have to talk, but it's not easy. But it gets easier with practice, right?
Yeah. I don't even know why I do it. And when he brings it to my attention, I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. But I don't know. I don't consciously think, okay, I'm not feeling well, so I'm going to see if he's not feeling well too, because why would he not be feeling well? It just happens. And
Exactly. It's just something that it happens, but again, it is a beautiful thing, to have that special partner that really, really cares. You know what I mean? And again, you were talking about people that are single, that have lupus or have a condition that is so hard for them to find somebody. And yes, but at the same time, let's look at it as not something that is hard, but as something as when you find that person, or when that person finds you, is going to be the right one, because it's going to stay with you no matter what.
Yeah.
It's going to stay with you, and it's not going to care that you have a condition. And let's start thinking like that. Let's start thinking like that, not like, oh, what I'm losing, but what are you going to gain?
You're going to be like, this is what a relationship was supposed to be like the whole time. This is what I was waiting for. And it's that much different. It is, I can say that with honesty, like 100%. You're like, oh, it's supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be, I don't even want to go there, but it's just.
No. And I understand. Yes, but it's so true, but it's so beautiful that we could take something that is not pretty, right?
Mm-hmm.
And try to change it into something that can make our life wonderful.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds weird, but
I get it, and I hope people know that that's there if they're single, because I wish somebody would have said that to me at the time. And people are always like, "Oh, it'll happen," but you don't want to hear all the cliche things. But I'm saying with certainty, for if you have lupus, that it's just, when it happens, it will be right. It'll be totally the right person. You'll know.
You will know. Yeah. You will definitely know if you're going through something and that person is there. Yeah. Like I know. Shout out to your hubby again. And I know my husband was the one. It was not. you know what confirmed it? And this is crazy because when we got married, we made a pact, you know, God, you and me forever, right? But then I got sick. And it was like God put us to the test when it comes to in sickness and in health.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because I was the one, not even him. I was the one that told my husband, and I'm being super real right now. I said, I'm giving you a way out. You know, you marry a healthy woman, you wanted a kids. Is I'm giving you a way out because I love you and I want you to be happy and I want you to get everything that you want in life,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I remember him looking at me. He's like, "Are you crazy? Didn't you remember the pact we did? I'm not married to you. I'm married to God as well. It's God, you, and me."
Yeah.
And he said, "You know, this is in sickness and in health. So if this is the way that it has to be, it has to be." That for me, it was like an explosion of love because that day it's like I fell in love with my husband all over again.
Yep.
And I know that it was God giving me that love for my husband. And it was hard because it was a huge process of loving myself that at that moment I was not loving myself at all. I didn't want to accept me. I looked at myself and I hated myself so much. So it was like in a way it was a struggle, you know, but in the process we grew,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and the sickness makes you strong. Like I feel like it made us stronger, and I feel like what you're telling me about your husband is it make you guys stronger. Like I see pictures of you guys and you guys are so beautiful. God bless you.
Before we got married too, I would say that a lot. I would say, I can't remember exactly, but I know I would say, like, why do you want to be with me? Are you sure you want to be with me?
Mm-hmm.
I would question him a lot. And not because he was acting like he didn't want to be with me. He was the complete opposite. But it was that trying to give him a way out. Like, this can't be this. Why is he being so great? Like, he doesn't deserve this. And he finally, like, had to say to me, you have to stop asking me that because I want to be with you. And I'm pretty sure I did right away. Maybe it took me a little bit, but I don't know. It was hard. It's hard to, and this was before we were married. So we said, you know, we were saying like, we know what in sickness and health means before we're getting married. Like we know what we've been through, what hopefully a lot of people don't even have to go through in life. Yeah. So once we had been through all that and knew we wanted to be with each other, it was like a no-brainer.
That's beautiful. It is so beautiful. And I hope people are getting inspired with this. Because
fun.
there is the
one
out there
right now. Oh, I haven't been able to hug him for a week.
I can feel your pain. Like I'm like, no, but it's gonna be okay. You're gonna be able to hug him soon, and this is gonna make it better. Think about that. You know, the distance is gonna be like more like, you know.
Oh, I know. We were like, it was so sad. We were just looking at each other like through the crack of the door the other night, and it was like, I just miss you. It is. You're right. It's like you really miss. The absence makes the heart grow fonder. We're with each other all the time, and this is the longest we've not been able to like have a hug, and it's hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chris says FaceTime him.
Oh, we have been.
Yes.
But it's funny because like our house is not that big, so we FaceTime, but I could still hear him in the other room. So we yell back and forth. I stand outside the room with a mask on, but no, we've been FaceTiming too. Oh. Trust me, we've been
we'll finding the way. You're finding the way, and that's a beautiful thing. Finding the way. One of the things Elizabeth says, you that's guys excel. Oh, hi.
I think if it's her.
I have to say, we have questions. I'm going through them. What books do you recommend us to read to understand you better? Oof. What would you recommend, Nicole? Have you read a book about it?
I want to write a book, actually.
I'm the first one to get it. You need to let us know. We do another interview live about your book.
I know. Let me get back to whoever asked that, because there's a couple books I've read that aren't about lupus, but help explain like in other different invisible illnesses and just show you how much you don't understand about certain things. So let me think about that. I don't have one
Yes.
that's just coming like to the top of my head right now, but let me think about it. And then when I write a book, that book too.
Yes. And he wants a copy, he says. Definitely.
Yes.
I want a copy too.
Oh, everyone.
Beforehand. I think we all want a copy
Yes.
too here.
I'll just,
So
yeah,
this is, you know what?
everyone-
This has to be our goal, Nicole. And I'm gonna push you for this. I'm gonna push you.
Okay.
You write the book and I make the movie. What about that?
Okay. I've been,
I'm gonna hold you to it.
I want to so badly because a number of people have said our wedding should be like made into a movie. And I'm like, but it can't just be the wedding. There has to be something more to it. So I'm like, well, I should write a book first about it. So we can do something like that because
I can't wait. I'm already thinking about it. So this is like creative minds thinking about. So I'm gonna be pushing you to do the book, and then you're gonna help me accountable with the movie.
I will.
Good. We got this. We got this. He said, "Love it. Let's go." Yes. People are so excited about it. I can't wait to read it. I am so excited. Let's see. Hold on. What other resources can we read about the topic? Can I answer this one, Nicole, really quick?
Yeah,
So this is another thing that I wanted to ask you so you can talk to them about. So you know, in the ambassador program, as part of the Lupus Foundation, that's something that we have learned and grow so much to actually be okay to even talk about lupus, right? Because at the beginning, I wouldn't talk about it, but now I talk about it bluntly because of the ambassador program. Now, the one that asked Rio Carlos Mejia, you can actually go to lupus.org. Everybody here, you can actually, guys, go to lupus.org, and there's everything there. There's a lot of reading. There's a lot of information for you guys to understand what lupus is, and not also that, but even to help if you guys wanted it to help as well. So I want to, oh, Chris put it there. Nicole, tell us a little bit how did it happen? How did you become part of the Lupus Foundation and the ambassador program? How did it all happen?
It was a couple years after I was diagnosed, and I think I just was looking online and I saw like the Lupus Foundation was the big one, and I was like, all right, well, I guess like if there isn't a cure, I'll just raise money and I'll find a cure myself. Like I just kind of made a joke out of it because that's what I do with most things in my life. And the first year, I think I made my goal like $1,000 and ended up raising $2,500. And you know, family and friends came to the walk, and I cried so hard when they gave me like my medal saying I was a top fundraiser, and they clapped for me. I just lost it, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, this community and all these people are amazing. So I started just talking to people who I met through the Lupus Foundation, and then they started this ambassador program, which I did the training for. And since then, there's been, you know, speaking engagements and this and that. But you really learn a lot about the illness, but you connect with so many people, and that I think helps the most. And I think it helps not just for patients, but for if you have a family member who has lupus or a friend. On lupus.org, they have a lot of information. It says for patients, for caregivers, for parents. But even connecting, my first ambassador meeting, the training, there was a parent there, and I believe they were becoming an ambassador because their child was a teenager and they just wanted to help and become involved. So it's not just patients. And even if you want to learn more about it, ask patients. Like social media, I used to like make fun of, oh, people are on social media so much. And then I made my lupus account, and I have met so many people and asked them so many questions, and people ask me questions, and it's such a great way for information and to connect with people and to meet people who are going through the same thing as you. So for everyone, not just patients, I'm saying, you know, family, friends, people who just want to know what lupus is for no reason.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, we met because of the ambassador program.
Were you in training, the first training?
No. So I was in another training because, you know, they always have like training. So it's weird because the way that I came to the ambassador program was because of my husband. I was under a lot of depression, and that's how I got my dog. We adopted my dog. That's my baby.
I
Just
love
like you
your,
have a
oh my
baby.
God.
I saw him, so cute. He was
He's over
around
there
there.
sleeping. I don't know why he's not sleeping
Oh,
with me.
I adopted my dog, and then my husband's like, you know what? There has to be more people like you out there. You need to talk to somebody out there. You are not alone in this. And I said, no, like I was, in my own bubble.
Yeah.
And this was years ago. This was when I recently was diagnosed. And I remember he came with a pamphlet, and he's like, call them. They're having an ambassador training program. And I said, okay. And I don't know what happened, but I called them. And since then it's history, I guess. I called them. I remember that we had a meeting, and there were more warriors there. We call each
Yeah.
other Lupus warriors. So there were more warriors there. And I felt empowered to see so many women that are going through this, the same things that I'm going through, some others worse than you. And they wanted to be a part of this program. And this literally, I feel like, brought me back to life. God used this to bring me back, to
Mhm.
literally tell me again, lupus is your weapon, so you can go out there, help, inspire others, and just don't let it defeat you. And that is something beautiful, because I met you not through the training, but I met you because of the community
Yes.
of all of the ambassadors. And I met Karen, and I met so many other beautiful women that I consider you, all of you guys, I consider you an inspiration, because we inspire each other. And I feel like even though we're going through certain things, again, others worse than others, but we push each other by saying you are not alone.
Yeah.
We are in this together. I truly feel your pain
Yes.
because I understand you,
Yes.
and how beautiful it
There's
is.
this like unspoken connection where it's just you immediately love the other person because you get it. You that we don't have to say anything else because you get it. And
You get it.
they're the most amazing people, I think. Like I'm biased, but seriously, the people in the lupus community are like the most amazing, genuine, selfless people I have met
You're
in the
beautiful.
world. So
Yeah.
I love every single one. I can't see, my thing is frozen, so I can't see like who's in here, but I know Karen and I love her, but
Yes.
everyone,
Karen.
everyone. I'm so upset there isn't the gala this year. I want to hug everyone, but
Yes. It's
like this.
but it's better because it's keeping us safe. But at the same time, we had the walk virtual. We had the virtual walk. We had all of these amazing things, and we're gonna have them. We're gonna have them. It's
Yeah.
just a time,
Yeah.
It's just a time, and talking about this time and then trying to, just closing up because I know you have to rest. Oh my goodness, we have questions. Hold on, somebody want to say? Just want to say, Nicole and Maria, keep up with the positive vibe and keep spreading light. Oh,
Thank you.
thank you so much. We truly appreciate that. Thank you. We have another person. Oh, the same one. Nicole and Maria, keep spreading the love and light. Guys, you're truly inspirational. Oh, thank you, Sifa Laurel. Blessings to you. Look at that. Let me see. We have another question. We have another question. We have lots of questions for you, Nicole.
Yeah, I can't see them, but my phone is not.
Can you see this one? How can we help?
I can't see anything. It's frozen from when Karen said hi, Nicole, at the very beginning. And
no.
yeah.
Okay, so I will let you know.
Okay.
So somebody asked, how can we help? I think just going by lupus.org, if you would like to join, just like Nicole was saying, right? This is not only for people that are sick, but if you want to help or just want to know more about it, lupus.org. You can also donate to the cause. We're fighting for better medication. We're fighting for a cure that I do not lose hope, Nicole, and I'm pretty sure you're the same way.
Yes.
We'll find a cure one day. I feel it.
There's when they started talking about like the different types of stem cells at the last, I think it was the last gala. There's going to be a lot of big things, and because I also think that because Plaquenil was like almost a treatment for COVID, there's some sort of connection, and there might be more research. We just I don't know if Talia's in here. But she said once to me, like, the more that people know, the more awareness there is, the more funding there is, and then there's a cure. So I always tell people, if you want to help, just tell one person about lupus, tell them what it is, because a lot of times people hear it or they know from the show House, like, it's not lupus, but people don't know what it is at all. So the more people know about, like, everyone knows about cancer. There's breast cancer awareness month, and there's lupus awareness month, but it is not, it's nothing compared. So we just need more people to know about it, and even that it's just this crazy unknown illness that doesn't have treatment, and needs help and resources and research and money to get just a little bit more help, because there isn't enough at all. The fact that there's one medication is not right.
Exactly.
So
the fact that there's one medication
and
in
it
how
doesn't
many
work
years?
for everyone, and so it's telling. I think telling people about it helps a lot. A lot of people in my family wear the bracelets. I could get those for everyone if you want. I have a bunch of them from my golf.
Me
outings.
too. I have.
Yeah, so we can, wear that, and then someone's like, "Oh, what bracelet do you have on?" "Oh, it's for lupus. Do you know what that is?" Just start the conversation.
Yeah, I made shirts. So you see this shirt, it says "Live Purple Warrior." Live Purple Warrior. Put Psalm 91 down there. I don't know if, let me see if I can show it.
Oh, nice! I need to get one.
I'm gonna send you one.
Okay.
So, why I did it for my team, the team for the walk. This was like 2 years ago. We put it on. Live Purple Warrior. Why I put Live Purple Warrior? Because when everything started, I was in such a black hole, that I felt like there was no way out. And I read Psalm 91, and it pulled me back up again, and that's when I decided that my spirit had to be stronger than the sickness, that I was not going to allow it to defeat me. Yeah. It doesn't mean that I don't have my days.
Yes.
Because we all have them.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't mean that sometimes I go in and cry. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that, because it's okay not to be okay. It's fine. But there was just something in me that had to wake up and say, I'm going to fight for this. I'm going to fight for my right to be alive. Yeah. So that's why I created, this shirt, Live Purple Warrior. And I was just trying to, for the walk especially, just to, people can, like, if they want to get it, and then the donations will go to the Lupus Foundation of America. And like that, when people wear it, they can start a conversation. It's like, Live Purple Warrior, what does that mean? What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Why purple? Because this is the color that we usually, we use for lupus. Yeah. So, and we can start a conversation like that. We can help. You can help. If you cannot donate, you are helping by sharing. You are helping by talking about it. And this is what we really want. We just want people to talk about it. Yeah. So the more people talk about it, the more information there is, the more the organizations want to pay for us to get better medication and hopefully a cure one day.
The one thing, what's tomorrow? Is tomorrow Friday? Yes. So yes. They're still good. I'm going to call them, the Lupus Foundation, tomorrow, because I have like a purple lupus mask that I got when they were doing that at the beginning of the season. And that has started, and I forget that I have it on, and that has started so many conversations where people just ask me straight up, do you have lupus? Or they'll say, oh, my mom has, the other day at the supermarket, some guy started talking to me, my mom has lupus, how are you doing? A woman at the register at another store said that. So that's like right now with what we're going through, I want to see if they can make more, and if not, maybe I can contact like a company who can make them, because that's a very easy way, with everyone wearing these masks right now, to just be able to, talk about it. Yeah.
I have the, the mug. So usually if I'm out and I'm drinking water, they're like, lupus, you have lupus? They're like, yeah, I have lupus. And then it starts a conversation, but that's a great idea. Try to contact them.
I will.
So people can get it. They're saying purple is my favorite color. And to me, it means PANCAN, domestic violence and awareness. Oh,
it means it's a few things. It's also pancreatic, pancreatic awareness, pancreatic cancer awareness too.
It has like a lot of, yes, definitely. I like that idea. So try to tell them. And I have to give you one of these shirts.
Yes.
And, it's just beautiful that there's actually an organization that it is working hard. Like throughout this whole time, they have been working so hard. I'm sure they keep up with you. They write you,
Yeah, to me,
like they
they're
write me
great.
to ask me how I'm
I
doing,
know.
and it's just amazing to see that.
It is.
It
It's a
is.
great community. And so for anyone, like I said, parents, patients, caregivers, anyone, they're really great people. So it's,
Amazing.
yeah.
So, my beautiful Nicole, I have my two last questions.
Okay.
So if anybody else has a question that want to ask, this is your time right now, because we have to let Nicole rest.
Almost
um,
bedtime. And I said to my husband before, he was like, how long is it going to be? I'm like, I don't know, half hour, an hour. He's like, you're telling your story? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, it's going to be 3 hours. What are you talking
yes.
So
You know what? This is gonna stay, everybody. This is gonna stay in Instagram, so you guys can hear it again. Because I feel like a lot of amazing information was thrown out today. Your story, with the medications, with the foundation. This is beautiful, and it's good that people are knowing about this. Sometimes what they see in pictures, we can be smiling, but it doesn't mean what we're going through behind
Oh,
closed doors. Okay, so. I want us to give us a message of inspiration to everybody that is here. Give us a message, something that we can take with us today.
can you give a message first so I can think?
Me?
Yeah.
This has been a double interview. I love it. Somebody says, I think Nicole and Maria are going to become great friends. Oh, I actually love Nicole. I actually call her my sister already when we are like texting each other. Hi, sis.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we FaceTimed after that meeting that one time. I was like, can I call you? And we were just FaceTiming for like 2 hours that first time. So
Yes, and we had such an amazing conversation. I feel like I know you forever, which is a blessing. You are a blessing.
So are you. Oh my gosh, you're amazing.
So you want me to say a message of inspiration. So here we go. What can I say that can inspire you guys? I don't know if you're gonna take anything from this live, from this interview that we had with Nicole, is to know that with faith we can move mountains. So you can be having a sickness that has no cure, or you can probably are going through a problem that you think that there's no way out. Just think about today. Think about not just us, but the people that every day has to deal with some type of sickness, and decide to still see light in their lives. So just think about that. That it's okay not to be okay, but to never lose hope, and to never lose faith, and to know that our spirits can be and are stronger than any sickness, than any problems. In my case, and I respect every religion, and I respect everybody, but I have to say, in my case, God has been the most amazing thing in my life that has brought me literally from death to become back to be alive. All I can tell you is faith is real. So hold on to that. God will bless you abundantly. So take that with you, With faith you can move mountains. You can conquer them even if you're going through something. I'm going to repeat it again. It's okay not to be okay, and we are stronger. We were created to be light. So let's just do that. That's it.
That was great. Oh my god.
Your turn, my love. I spoke too much.
Wait, one thing, this isn't a message, really, but one thing I thought of, and I don't know how to really word it without it sounding like, you'll know what I mean. I don't mean this to sound bad, but a lot of people who are having a really tough time with quarantine and being alone and missing going out and doing things, we're the people to talk to, because I feel like we know how to handle this. Not that it's easy for me or anyone, but like you know, with Thanksgiving coming up and a lot of people not being able to do things or only see a few people, I've missed Thanksgiving. I've done this. So I don't want it to sound like, oh, I know what I'm doing, so it's fine. Like, that's not what I'm trying to get. I'm just saying, you know, we're used to missing things. We're used to being isolated. So with the world being isolated, everyone feeling isolated in the world right now, you feel free to ask questions like, what do you do when you're just home for months on end or stuck in bed for months on end? Because we have been there.
Yes.
Maybe that's a message. Another message, you're just way stronger than you think you are. Because like you said, I have been at the lowest of lows, and I didn't think that I would be sharing my story for the world to hear. I mean, I've literally spoken on a stage to a ton of strangers, hundreds of strangers, telling my story. And I never thought that that would be me, just being completely vulnerable. So everyone's going to have rough things happen to them. It doesn't have to be an illness, but you are so much stronger than, if you have any doubts, you're way stronger than you think you are. And I think talking about it helps a lot. Even if you're not talking like this to somebody on a live, just messaging someone, texting someone, calling someone, messaging someone that you don't know on Instagram and you never have to see or talk to again in your life, but someone who you know is going through the same thing as you, whatever it is. Just community is a lifesaver, I think.
Yeah. Yes, I love that community, and I love that you say that we are stronger than we imagine.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. I want to tell you, and I know everybody here loves you. Everybody's saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is
Thank you,
beautiful.
everyone. I wish I could see you, but I can
Yes.
go look on after and see who was on.
Yes,
But yeah.
you can. Thank you. Yes, thank you everybody that joined us today, that listened to Nicole and my story as well, and
Yeah,
just
thank you.
be here for us. And just like Nicole said, you know, you can definitely reach out to us, right? Again, like Nicole says, it's a community, and you're not alone. And even if we're going through something, especially right now, please take care of yourselves. But we are not alone. We are not alone. Nicole, I want to tell you that I've been saying it throughout this life, but I want to tell you now again, you are an inspiration. I wanted to have you so much in this life. I had lives with other people about, you know, what I do with the production, but for me, it was so important to bring you here and for you to tell us your story. You have inspired me in many ways that you probably don't even realize. So I wanted to let you know that. I love you.
I love
keep
you.
keep inspiring, keep being who you are. And I pray that God blesses you and help you, and that we might be aunties pretty soon, all of the Lupus Warriors. Thank you for giving me this interview. Thank you for having more than an interview. I feel like it was like a conversation.
Yeah.
And God bless you, beautiful sister. And I just wish you everything but best for your life and your husband and your family. Thank you for everything that you're doing with the Lupus Foundation. Thank you for telling us your story and be real about it.
And you too. Thank you. You're doing it all too. And give Chris a big hug.
I will give your husband a big hug. I don't know him, but
I'll
oh, I'm sorry. Oh no. This is horrible. You know, when you can.
I will. When I can, I will.
So yes,
but
my
I
love. Thank you.
And thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you
I'm
for thinking of me for this. And anytime you want to have a conversation, I mean, we're going to talk obviously all the time, but anytime you want to have a conversation like this, we can do it. If people like it, we can do it whenever.
Yes, we can definitely have conversations like this. I'm planning of bringing probably more people, more ambassadors to talk about their stories and lupus. So if you guys have questions, if you guys want more interviews, just let me know and we'll keep doing that. We'll keep doing it and inspiring.
These will be great because everyone can see how different every story is, and how I think that's such a good idea. You're gonna
I'm
be
thinking
awesome. It's
about
gonna be
it.
so great. I can't wait.
I'm gonna be looking now. Who's next?
I'll send
But
you. I have a few ideas of people. I'll send you a few people.
okay, let me know.
I will.
But thank you so much, my love.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. God bless you all. Mwah. Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to say something else?
No. Oh no. my eyes are going down. I'm getting tired.
Yes, you have to go and rest. We have to go and rest. But
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone who joined. I'm gonna look after to see, and I'll probably message you and thank you because I can't right now. But thank you everyone, and have a great weekend and Thanksgiving and everything. So
same to you, my love.
okay, bye. Love you.
Love you too.
And now I don't know how to leave. I'm stuck here forever.
Wait,
it's not the worst place.
I'm gonna leave it.
Okay.